So, it's been well documented that I am indeed a rather big fan of Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi. No, it is not my favorite Star Wars film. I don't think it's the best Star Wars film or a masterpiece or without air. Just a really good time at the movies. Regardless, I have been very much looking forwards to the next Rian Johnson film, hoping that that one will clear the air and allow me and you together to enthusiastically agree that he is a solid filmmaker, that he is a good storyteller, and just to harmonize about these things. Unfortunately, I don't think Knives Out is necessarily going to be that film. But let's put that part of the conversation on hold just for a couple of minutes and focus on what I'm hoping anyways we can more unanimously agree upon and civilly discuss. Knives Out, when it comes to its overall cinematic craft and just entertainment value, is indeed a home run. It was so clear in watching it that Rian Johnson not only knew the murder mystery genre extremely well, he loved it, and that love was genuinely infectious. Even while the first 15 minutes or so of the film was easily the least compelling for me, I still couldn't deny that I was having a lot of fun watching a modern-day storyteller take a crack at an age-old genre, giving his own kind of spin to classic scenes like the ones where the detectives line up all the possible murder suspects and interview them. Further elevating those first few minutes was the outstanding cast that Johnson assembled around him, from Jamie Lee Curtis to Toni Collette to Michael Shannon to Don Johnson to Chris Evans. The entire cast, all of them just so clearly understood the specific style and tone of the film that they were making. And whether their characters were incredibly dimensional on the page or not, each of them so excitedly sunk their teeth into their roles, just delightfully enthusiastic to be there, and that just made me smile. And again, what I'm talking about occurred in those first 15 minutes of the film, which again, for me anyways, were just good. But then entered Daniel Craig's Mr. LeBlanc and Ana de Armas' Marta Cabrera, and I was in. Obviously, no spoilers, but from that pair's very first scene together, when Marta was revealed to have this rather interesting condition, I just loved what Rian Johnson was doing with this film. Quite simply, he was, at as many turns as possible, choosing the hard ways to tell the story. Ways that ultimately made it that much more rewarding for us, the viewer. And of course, I don't want to spoil exactly what Marta's issue was, but let's just say in a genre where deception is an integral part, Marta's character was designed to directly pull against that. But it wasn't just the design of that character that really complicated things for Mr. Johnson and his storytelling. About 30 minutes into the film, he really went and did something very interesting that completely turned everything on its head, structuring the building blocks of this murder mystery in a way that utterly knocked me back on my heels. Without spoiling anything, I'll just say that that structure really did make it impossible for me to guess where exactly the film would end up. And for a murder mystery, well, that's just perfect. Now, while I do think that the trailers did a pretty good job of actually establishing all the elements that we've discussed so far, there were two elements that really were integral to this film that I felt like they kind of left out completely. The first being Ana de Armas' Marta. As it turned out, she really was the lead character of Knives Out, and even with an outstanding ensemble all around her, she really did carry the film, even more so than Daniel Craig's Mr. LeBlanc. And the reason that that's worth mentioning here is just the way that she played her character, especially in contrast to the rest of the cast members around her, was just with complete earnestness and sincerity, and it was really that extra dimension that made this film something special for me to watch. Just watching it deftly segue between sincerity and farce, drama and comedy, popcorn fun and earnest allegory was all just great. Which brings me back around to what I was talking about at the top of this review. Now, while of course Knives Out does not run the risk of messing with a beloved franchise or treasured characters in a way that some fans would deem to be anathema, it still does in fact possess a rather pointed political and social commentary that I'm sure will frustrate and maybe anger a few people out there. Now, just so you walk in well aware of what I'm talking about, this is not a commentary that you can simply turn a blind eye to or ignore or pretend is not there. It is clear as day and woven into the very fabric of the story itself. And for that, I would say to Rian Johnson, good for you. Now, yes, there are absolutely some of you out there, I'm sure, that would say, Chris, I go to films to escape from reality, not be confronted by it. And to you, I would simply respond, I get that. I feel ya. But at the same time, I see no reason to limit the cinematic experience to just one thing. And yes, I would say that even to my idol, Martin Scorsese. More than feeling catered to or feeling really happy, I want to walk out of a film feeling like the filmmakers behind it spoke from their heart. And I also want to be able to recognize that it's an honor that they did so, allowing me to, through their film, better understand them and the world around us. And more important than me agreeing with every single point that they're trying to make, I think is the recognition that we both, the filmmaker and I, are humans, and we're both just trying to figure out this world around us, and how wonderful is it that we can do it in part ways through the phenomenal medium of cinema. And for all these reasons, I will give the film a 4 out of 5 and a heart. I would still love to know what you guys thought of the film though, so definitely comment below and let me know. And do you personally have a favorite Rian Johnson film? I would love to hear that from you as well. Finally, please do subscribe. I'm going to continue to review films and television on this channel, and I would love for you to stay up to date on all of those things. But for now, I'm Chris Hartwell. This is The Heartbeat. Thank you for joining me.